We're on. We're live. I was gonna say something funny, but I didn't.
Oh, hey. For the record, I do not want to recap as of yet. I want to be a recapped in character. Because
Sweet.
I read the pillow books, but I don't want to know in character. Like, I want it to be as a surprise to me as it is to Shujinko.
I suspect things might be happening to Shichenko.
Nah. And
it was a completely simple mission. Nothing went wrong. He stole the dude. It's fine.
Ken, I'm gonna give you a character sheet for you to play.
I figured that might be happening today.
You know me so well.
Okay, now I'm legitimately curious.
I believe we're having the adventures of Shichenko today.
Mm-hmm. 50% Ken.
Oh, I remember that fun time.
If you look through like my first videos, it's all just has your name plastered all over it. Alrighty, so we're gonna begin today's session. Last week, nothing of interest whatsoever happened, so it's gonna be fun getting into an episode where something happens. So this session starts out with Office 34. They're all kind of assembled at Isawa Kyuden, as well as an additional player who might develop consciousness during this session, but might not. That being Shiba Akamaru, who's from episode 1.
Oh yes, the guy with the fancy lantern.
Yeah, the peasant lover. So you guys are assembled to do your duty and go on the mission that your boss gave to you, and don't have anything sneaky planned whatsoever at all.
Not at all. In fact, the whole point of splitting us up like this was so that way I could successfully cover for Asako Hiroshi and Isawa Sai, because truly they were gripped by the prayer and fervor of their ancestors. So that's why they're taking extra time to get back. Nothing shady happened at all.
That's right. So you guys are ready to head out, but as has never happened in your time as magistrates, there's someone actually seeing you off outside the village. It's none other than Asako Yuri, who she's checking out everybody's things, making sure you all got enough supplies. She's not. Shujinko, are you prepared for your mission?
Indeed I am, Asako-san.
No, I just want to remind you that he's traveling on with false papers, but he's something of a delegate, so I need you to not rough him up and make him explode.
There will be no need to do such things. I am certain that I will be able to persuade him to come back without the use of force whatsoever.
Excellent, and just come back as quickly as humanly possible. Would you like to make a good courtier roll for me? I guess an investigation roll will work.
Certainly.
Ooh,
32.
let's have fun. Let's make it a post. 1 second. Should have been.
I don't notice anything.
Yep, she's her on is so stoic. Well, good. I wish you lads all good luck. I'm a little yeah. Good luck, everybody. May the fortunes bless your travels. And she kind of waves you off.
And may the winds of victory carry us back to Kyuden Isawa.
Mm-hmm. So you guys travel together for some time until you reach this crossroad right here. At which point, Akamaru is there waiting for you guys. And he's very happy to be assisting you guys. Finally gets to repay Sai's grandfather. Oh wait, it's the other way around. Anyway, looks pleased to meet you guys. You guys helped his mother out, so he's kind of happy about that. Gives Hiroshi an erstwhile grin because, boy, this guy's funny.
Hiroshi's got the jokes, dude.
Yeah. At least he looks funny. But yeah, it's at this crossroads that Asako Hiroshi and Asawa Sai go one way, and Isawa Shojinko, Shiba Umbayashi, and Shiba Akamaru head south towards their destination. Very fun. And as I always try to mention when you guys are traveling, it's along the beautiful, just Roman roads of the Phoenix clan. Roads this nice shan't be seen for 200 years when the steel chrysanthemum builds his golden road. So you guys travel in leisure along this path. Down south, through a temple that doesn't exist for like 800 more years until you hit Shiroshiba. You enjoy the hospitality of the Phoenix Clan's most powerful fortress. Before heading along the road to Kyuden Isawa, or Asako. Guys, make that travel forward. There's just no way to make travel interesting. I'm sure there is. I'm sure I'm a schmuck, but here we are. And along the way, you guys hit the border from one province to the other that goes over from the Asako provinces to the Shiba provinces. And this is where you guys will spring your lawfully mandated trap, basically. There's a border guard post to check people's traveling papers to make sure that they're proper and people aren't forging documents to unlawfully move materials from one province to the other. And that's where you guys are presently. But you know, it's the Phoenix Clan, so the military presence here on the border is minimum, at least. It's just 2 guards who look pretty shabby. Homer Simpson-like, even.
Certainly, that only speaks to the peacefulness of our lands.
I certainly think so. But as you guys arrive, they snap to attention, tighten their obies, kind of make sure everything's presentable, and they bow to the 3 magistrates, 2 magistrates and 1 hanger-on, who is coming along with them. Oh, good morning, Magistrate Sansa. How can we help you today?
Good evening, Shiba-san. We are here on a mission from Office 34. You may assist us by allowing us through.
Oh, of course. And then, this is actually the post where you'll be like, stopping the man with the foreign papers.
No, in that case, he will also say, there is a issue that we are needing your assistance with.
Of course, anything to assist a magistrate, sir.
Indeed. There is a man that we are to apprehend without the use of force. He is known to be carried in a palanquin by 4 guards. We do not expect there to be any such resistance, but he is traveling without proper travel papers. We are in need of assistance in detaining him.
Certainly anything we can do to help. We have experience with apprehending people. Certainly.
Out of character, would I know roughly around the time that he was supposed to be coming through here, or would there have been any rumors along the way or anything of the sort?
You know he's gonna be like today is when he's traveling.
I want to use an investigation check to survey the general area, just to see if there would be any place to witness this without, you know, needing to be quite so visible, in case the use of force is indeed necessary.
Okie doke.
I see nothing.
You're in the section of the Phoeni-X land that's all plain, so flat as a plate for quite a while.
Indeed. Well, in that case, Shujinko will then say, we expect him to be traveling through this province today, and as such we are in need of... We need to communicate with him and then take him to Kyudanasawa so that he may procure the proper travel papers. As such, I will be staying here with you until such time that he comes by, as will the rest of our group here.
Oh, yes, sir, of course. Since you've been traveling, would you like to relax in the guardhouse?
I will indeed have need to bathe myself, as it has been a long travel, and perhaps get some tea. Aside from that, I will be returning here to wait with you. I am quite studious in my duty, and I wish to be here when the time comes.
Excellent. So with that, you guys head into the guardhouse, bathe, get some rice, and just kind of relax a little bit before things get serious today. And about the time that the sun starts to consider heading beneath the horizon, there's you see a form on the horizon down the road, and the guards, all kind of shout back and forth to each other and make themselves ready. And within a few minutes, that faint shape on the horizon quite obviously turns into 4 men holding an elaborate-looking palanquin.
Well, at least the information was correct. I will wait until they are within speaking range.
And in that palanquin's a machine gun, and it just kills everybody. Yeah, it happens. So yeah, we get that very dramatic shot of palanquin swaying back and forth as across the plains, the air shimmers with heat and moisture. Yeah, a few minutes later, coming down the road, these 4 guards approach the guard station.
I'll hold up my badge and then say, greetings. I am Isawa Shujinko, Clan Magistrate of Office 34. May I see your travel papers?
And they go, yes, of course, certainly. And they set the palanquin down. And the head one, it was a weird phrase. The head guard reaches into his kimono and brings out some papers for you. And whoosh, hands them to you for inspection.
I inspect them. Do they look fake?
Make a bureaucracy roll for me.
Would that be courtier or etiquette?
Etiquette. Calligraphy might be fun as well.
I'll go ahead and do calligraphy then. I'm not rolling well today.
You're saving it for the important stuff.
I suppose so. Would that be enough to determine the fake?
What was that, Ken?
You're on a roll of bad rolls.
Boom, boom, boom. That's enough to determine that these travel papers are real. They are for an Asako Shinji.
He looks at the traveling papers and then raises a brow for a moment and then says, well, everything here seems to be in order. It is my unfortunate duty to inform you, however, that I am to take you to Kyudanasawa.
And the head dude kind of knits his brows for a second in an expression of confusion and says, not Shiroshiba, as is our destination.
What were you planning on doing in Shiroshiba?
I wasn't what our patron is doing in there, we do not know. We simply guard important dignitaries.
I see. Well, the dignitary must indeed be important because I was appointed this task by the Assistant Chief Magistrate Asako Yuri to personally escort them to Kyudanasawa. I am afraid I do not have any additional information regarding as to why. It is simply my duty to assist you in escorting them there.
If you check their travel papers, it says that he's a military advisor. So the guy nods and he asks if he can inspect your papers.
Certainly. And then I'll hand over the case file that says, yeah, Asako Yuri is to say, yeah, take him to Kyudanasawa.
Very well.
But yes, I hand it over.
Yeah, he looks it over for a second. He nods at the other guards and goes, "Oh, well, very well. We will depart when you're ready, then."
I see no reason not to start immediately.
Swell. And off you guys go, retracing your steps.
Hayashi is, of course, taking very detailed notes of everything that's occurring.
Naturally. Just like a good boy. So you guys return to Kyudanasawa just a few days after you left it. That was whew. Anyway, English. So you guys off on the horizon. Kyudanasawa is on a flat plain, and it's like a tower sticking out the horizon, and then out from it is a beautiful Phoenix city that spreads out. And as you guys are approaching, it's nightfall. Not the same nightfall as when you guys left the station. That would be an interesting plot point, but no. It's nightfall, and as you guys are going through the city that surrounds Kyudanasawa, you notice that it's eerily quiet in the city. No citizens, be they peasant or samurai, are currently out. The only living beings are cats, birds, and squads of samurai who are going to and fro from streets, kind of like marching in and out. And every once in a while, you see a samurai will be standing outside a household while there's a loud rummaging sound going on inside that household. And it's much this way throughout the outer city until you finally reach the keep for which the city is named.
While we're still within the outer city, I would approach, flash my badge, and then ask what the commotion is about, essentially. What's going on here?
Well, such curiosity is rewarded with. There's been a series of assassinations last night. And so today, 40 people in total were assassinated last night. So the guards are currently, cracking down and investigating any and all suspicious activity within the city to see if they can find the conspirators or the assassins. And so the city's been kind of crazy for the last day.
That is indeed a very strange amount of killings in such a short period of time. Is there a common thread between them that the guards have yet determined?
It seems like most of them were choked to death. And the kami have no recollection of seeing anybody do it.
Of course, because why would they? Well, this isn't my problem, so I wish them good luck, and then I continue with my duty.
Yeah, as for the schmucks in Office 5, let those assholes deal with it.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you get to the keep, which currently has its gates. Usually, it's so welcoming, but today it has its gates closed and 6 Shiba Bushi guard it. And as you approach, they tells you to stop and ask what your purpose in the keep is.
Do I recognize any, and do they not recognize the badge? Clearly these people need to, I don't know, be more familiar with the faces. Regardless, he'll flash his badge and then say, I'm here on official business of Asako Yuri.
And they all looked good and well perplexed at this information. But yeah, you recognize the guards. It's good old Jim, the guard, and Bjorn, and the whole crew's here. But when they hear that you're here on business for Asako Yuri, they're like, "What? Hold on, please, hold on. Let me get a supervisor." So you wait in various states of patience as they go to fetch one of their superiors and talks to him for a second, and then he comes back out and he says, okay, we'll let you in. As the gates creak open slowly and allow you inside, where I'll change the map. Look at that good boy. Ooh. So much like in the outer town, this place too has guards crawling with guards as some people assassinate were within the keep, so very important as the Shiba are working overtime to investigate. But you guys shrug and say, well, at least we're here, as you carry 4 Bushi and who's ever in that palanquin along with you, as you head over to the Hall of the Novelates, where you guys also do business. And this scene really makes no sense, because they totally do this job in the day. But as you guys, I guess they're at the tail end of it. As you guys approach the Hall of the Novelites, I believe, the young expiring Shugenja, who all sleep together in one room, and your tower is directly connected to that building, you'll see that there's a flurry of business over at your tower as presently a Sako librarian is standing there with a large scroll, and she's cataloging everything, as many of the files and case notes that you guys have collected over a year of working at the office are currently being piled into various boxes and scroll racks as people are magistrates are taking out the material evidence and written testimony that you guys have collected over the last year and removing it from your office.
Greetings, Asako-san. What is it that you were doing with the case files here?
And she goes, "Oh, Shujinko, good to see you. I was actually wishing to speak with you. Has anybody informed you of the happenstance over the last few days?"
The assassinations? Yes. I happened to get the information from a guard within the outer perimeter. So, it is something for certain. But you said you wished to speak to me. Come, let us go somewhere more private.
Of course. So you guys head into the tower, which is now pretty bare. But you guys sit in the skeletons of your headquarters, and as you are sitting around, she says, "Okay, there's no real easy way to say this, so I'll just let it out, shall I?
Please."
Well, the case you've been working on with the Blue Lotus and whatnot, Asako Yuri, just 2 days ago, committed suicide in relation to the case. It wasn't seppuku, but it's like the one that ladies do where they stab themselves in the throat. I do not know the name for it.
Lady seppuku, essentially.
Lady seppuku, yeah. And she wrote kind of a long note explaining that she was responsible for all the wrongdoing with the Blue Lotus, and that she's been orchestrating around the behind the scenes, having magistrates do certain work and not doing certain work in order to benefit that particular set of monks, and how her having to be the one to try the case, she was finally she saw the errors of her way and just how dishonorably she'd sunk, and she just couldn't take that. So she says, I'm responsible. Our captain is also responsible, and so to atone for my failures, I'm gonna just kill myself right now. Also, by the way, Office 34 is shut down. Is basically what the suicide note said.
Shujinko's bullshit meter is firing off in the most rapid, angry pace that one's bullshit meter could fire off. He looks to her and then says, "You claim that Asako Yuri left a note.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that note right now?"
Oh, it's currently with the case file for the Blue Lotus. It was added to evidence, and I believe is going to be reviewed at the hearing within the next few days for the case.
Well, so long as I am still here, I am still a member of this office. I wish to investigate that note. I wish to see it. You claim that she also committed Lady Seppuku, the proper name for it.
Uh-huh.
Has it been determined that that is indeed the case? As far as I can tell, there have been a string of assassinations. It would be quite simple to simply say that someone had, well, to put it as bluntly as one can, has felt the dishonor of their ancestors and could no longer take it. Or let me rephrase that. Has felt the shame of dishonoring themselves in front of their ancestors and could no longer take it, especially in front of such a large mass slaughter. Has there been any investigation done into the validity of that death?
Let's see. For some reason, she has notes on everything that goes on in Kunasawa. She'll flip through that a little bit. And so she's like, "Oh well, yeah. There it looks like a few magistrates did look into that, but you know." The handwritten note from a superior really just, really just makes the process a lot harder when she admits to it.
That is indeed true. I would like to see that note.
Alright, I'll see if we can work something out for you. She says, yeah, so, as long as the Blue Lotus case stays open, this office still has, you guys are still technically magistrates of it, but, just letting you guys know, I have no authority to say this, whatever. I'm just saying this as a friend, because you come to my library a lot, and you always look up the most interesting subjects, and, we're friends. So just letting you know, the word on the block is now that Yuri's, admitted to, basically explained what the crime is, that the council's looking to let this case go, and when this case is finished, I'm afraid you guys will be reassigned to different posts.
As is to be expected. But I do quite like you, Asako-san, so I would very much like to use this library one last time. If you could get your hands on that note, I would be most appreciative.
She blushes, covers her face with a sleeve. Surely I'll do the best I can. She says, but for now, I'm tired. I've been cleaning out your office all day, so I shall retire into the night.
Indeed, and I've had a long journey, so I shall be retiring as well. And after he retires and goes to a place that he knows that there are absolutely nobody listening, because he's going to an area outside of the office, he is going to grab his tier and then say, what the fuck is going on? And then explain the situation to the tier and then say, I need immediate orders. Immediate. Not tomorrow, tonight.
Oh, Shojinko, we're so happy that you contacted us. Listen, we also have a kind of a situation developing, and we thought it was quite interesting. Think it might be of some interest to you. So, the Rock section of our organization, you know of them. They're having reports that Paleface Gaijin are going around the tribes in the Yobanjin territory and trying to recruit some tribes into attacking the northern Phoeni-X lands this winter. Do you have any any information on this case that could be of help to us?
I only know that there have been, besides the reports that I have sent you, with the gunpowder within northern Dragonlands, the so-called Thunder Spirit that turned out to be nothing more than gunpowder, it seems that they are practicing an invasion. Oh. Realization dawns immediately within Shujinko's mind as he then says, yes, there is a good deal that needs to be discussed. I am uncertain of how safe contact through this tier is. Who is the closest representative? Where can I find them?
For what we know, Sako-Jun's cover's still safe and sound, so you should be able to arrange a meeting with him today, if necessary, and discuss matters with him.
It is necessary, and it is indeed what I'm going to be doing. Be very careful. Our work is too important to fail. And that's why Asako-Jun needed the military mind. Asako-Jun may be aware of this already, but I will speak to him, and we will go from there. I will contact you again when I have more information.
Please do. We're currently trying to plan all this out.
As it stands, it might be wise to contact the Lotus Sect. If there are enemies within the Yobanjan territories, perhaps eliminating a few key minds would be enough to make this simpler.
Mm-hmm. We shall take that into consideration.
It may also be wise to inform Master Tiger of the goings-on here. I have the feeling that there may be some leaks about to occur. I have told you before of Asako Hiroshi. Right now he may be an ally to us, but I believe he is the most dangerous enemy of our order currently, especially with me being as close to him as we are. But I will speak with Asako-Jun, and we will go from here.
Very good. Knowledge, learning. I forgot what the rest was.
Oh, knowledge, knowledge, organization, learning. I can't remember A, but T was teaching.
Administration.
Yes, let's go with that. But then, yeah, I'm going to go and immediately get an audience with Asako-Jun.
Sweet. Shiba Umeashi, would you like to interrogate the passenger?
Yes, clearly.
Excellent. So as Isawa Shojinko heads off to get an audience with Jun, Umeashi's like, "All right, you take care of that. I'll take care of this this interrogation." So with their delivery complete, the four guards bid you farewell, as their orders were just to transport an individual, and that got waylaid, but here they are now. So they wish Umeashi well on his with his investigation. So Umeashi heads over to the Pelican, which is parked outside, and his character might be surprised or not, but you kind of peel apart the curtains and for the first time peer inside the Pelican, and you're struck by an image which is very very unique, I think, in all of Rokugan and maybe the world. But you see a pale-faced man currently sitting in the Pelican. Now our characters have on a few separate occasions met pale-faced individuals, but they had faces like the snow, and they were still their facial structure was what we would recognize as an Asian facial structure. This guy is pale and is reminiscent of the stories of the Gaijin invaders who came to this land some 40 years ago. He's an old Caucasian male with dusty white hair that's very bald and big ears, in a kimono.
Greetings, Shiba-san, was it?
He kind of blanches a little bit more than more than readily should be normal. Yes, that's correct.
I believe this is not what you intended for your journey, but you are here at Kudnisawa now, and it's necessary for us to speak with you.
Oh, right. Very well, lead me inside, I suppose. And,
She would lead the man along.
Sweet. So you go inside the ransacked remains of Office 34. He kind of nervously plays with his hands as he's like, bit dustier than I'm used to, I must admit. So why the change in orders?
Supposedly there were issues with your papers.
Supposedly, I suppose. Yes. He looks very nervous. So where do we go from here, I suppose, is the question. On hand.
Is there anything that I should be knowing about this?
Let's see. At the moment, I would like you to play it like you were, any other member of Office 34 and, invested in unfurling the mystery before you.
Why, I suppose that is for the head magistrate to decide. It is she who sought your, attainment here.
And that's Asako-jun, correct?
Oh, heavens no.
All you people's ridiculous names, I can't keep it straight. Who's the head magistrate?
Why, that would be the most esteemed Asako Yuki.
Right. That was the GM's bad. Right. Female, of course. Very novel.
I find it very difficult to understand what you mean by that.
Well, you know. Women, surely.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sexist cultures.
Yes. I continue to be very perplexed by your statements, Shiba-san, considering even among the kami themselves, women prove themselves to be equals of men.
What? Mm-hmm. It was nothing. Forget about it.
What do I want to do here? You would appear, Shiba-san, to have borne witness to a great many seasons.
This is true?
Might I ask, were you there for when the Empress herself repelled the invaders from our shores.
And he kind of curls a hand in an unpleasant nature. Yes, I was there, as well as my comrades who were captured by you savages.
I do not take your meaning.
You know, savages. You live in squalor, your technology, so your boats, everything. It's so primitive. Your economy struggles year after year. It's all very pathetic.
Such as the empire is how the empire is. How else might it be governed but by the mandate of heaven?
And he kind of narrows his eyes for a second. He's like, "You're not with them, are you?"
With whom?
With Yuri and the rest of them, you know, the people who captured me. You're not part of the status quo, are you?
I am a loyal servant of Asako Yuri. More loyal than perhaps others in my office.
Well, you see, the thing about the servants of Asako Yuri are that they're all very interested in having their nation live outside the mandate of heaven. So, the fact that you would pose such a question strikes me as suspicious, and I think I shall say no more.
You speak of suspicion, yet you yourself bear the burden of requiring a great deal of scrutiny. You seem to not know things that a simple child would not know.
And he crosses his arms and looks like he's done talking to you. He will not take these insults.
Bayashi would leave.
Welcome, Joshua.
Hello. Sorry about all this.
Hey, you're all good.
Everyone was late today except for Chris.
My girlfriend ordered, and a few of her coworkers who are from the Gulf area ordered like 30 pounds of crawfish. So we had a crawfish boil in northern Maine, and so you kind of have to just cook it when it arrives since it's being like overnight shipped. And so I just got back from it. So
My sister-in-law has like a crawfish boil like every week, and I can't imagine eating that much, but hope you had fun, my dude.
oh, we didn't eat that much of it. The weird thing is you can't really eat. It's so like time consuming to eat. Like
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm like starving right now. And I've just been eating for the last 2 hours.
I mean, we have crayfish in our lakes up here, and I can't imagine there's any real amount of meat on any of them.
There's like, like half a pinky's worth per tail, but it takes me anyway about a minute to get at it.
Yeah, I actually went to my first crawfish boil thinking, oh, this is gonna be great. And then I got there, and oh my man, it took like half an hour to have even just any amount of meat. It's like, guys, why do we eat these things? Moreover,
Well, they are very good, I think, anyway.
Moreover, I went to culinary school, and I know that all that inside stuff that they're slurping up, that kind of bluish stuff, that's what we call poop.
Yeah. I mean, you do purge them beforehand, so the idea is that they shit right before you cook them.
That's the hope, anyway.
Right, but you still see some of it in their digestive tracts, but you can just clean it out. It's like lobster. Lobster, there's a lot more of it, so. Which, being from Maine, is what I'm used to eating. I didn't know you'd gone to culinary school. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
I have never had lobster.
It's delicious, but I'm from Maine, so it's like.
Yeah, man, you have Maine lobster. Maine lobster is a whole other beast, dude. Like, normal lobster is like... Maine lobster is a ribeye. Like a beautiful, dry-aged ribeye. Normal
Yeah.
lobster is like hamburger in comparison.
Yeah.
Still good, but one is clearly superior. Oh, anyway, I believe that there was an interrogation going on.
I believe the interrogation just ended.
Yes.
So with that, we head over. Oh, that was never mind. A lot going on behind the scene right now. With that, we reconvene with Asako Shojenko as he heads into the office of the assistant head magistrate. It's currently Isawa Shojenko. It's currently late at night, but he gets no sleep ever. This man is 50% caffeine pills at this point in his life. And without Asako Yuri to, assist him in the matters of a magistrate, he's taken it all on by himself. So he's convening everything. The dismantling of Office 34. You missed that, Sai. The 40 assassinations that went on in the Capitol. Just everything. And so as you enter, he's men and ladies are coming in and out of his office constantly. But when you arrive, he shoos all the bureaucrats away and closes all his doors and sits you down.
Shujinko will just stare at him, because proper etiquette says that he is to wait for him to talk, but he knows what's really happening here, so he's just staring and waiting. Slightly unhinged look in his eye.
And he says the other two are off retrieving the artifact, I presume?
Yes.
Excellent. Then we have Hiroshi out of our hair for a little bit then.
I believe you underestimate Hiroshi. I believe you also underestimate what's happening here. You bring a military strategist to Hyuga. Is this because of what's happening in the abandoned territories?
Sorry, that uncomfortable pause was just so I can make a joke. My apologies. Oh no, I assure you, the whoever that military strategist. I assume you're talking about the target that Yuri sent you after.
That's right.
Anything concerning that man, I assure you, is out of my knowledge. Whatever that involves was her doing alone.
Jean, let's speak plainly here. You and I both know that this isn't tenable. You have moved yourself up in a position, and you are now chief magistrate. You are the chief one here, and truly, that is an improvement for our mutual friends. But you also must recognize that ordering the assassination of 40 people in this place here was a foolish move. There is much that they will be doing to busy themselves, but you and I both know that eventually someone will figure out what's happening. Not only will someone figure out what's happening, we both know who is going to figure out what's happening. It will be either Hiroshi or Sai. They are the smartest men that I have ever met. You are underestimating them by sending them on a fool's errand. You should kill them while you still have the chance.
And, yeah, it's attention to the thing. Yes, that's what I was hoping for. Jung chews his teeth for a second or two before threading his fingers between themselves. And he lets out a sigh. He says, Shojenko worked with you for a year, and over the course of that year, proven yourself to be a smart investigator, a powerful Shugenja, pretty good at maneuvering your way through social situations, I would observe. However, you and I are brothers in a cause, and though we've only known this for a short time, I find myself curious of what you think our cause is about. What is the cause to you? I can't help but wonder.
The cause is simple, Jun. Equality. The cause is knowing that never again will a peasant and a samurai who love one another will be ripped apart from one another. The cause is knowing that never again will a samurai lose a child to a corrupt social order. The cause is knowing the true threats to the Empire, the Shadowlands, and those surrounding it. The cause is uniting people, making them recognize the inherent power in every person, samurai, peasant, Edda. Each one is as equal as the other. The only difference is who you were born with. Anyone can be reincarnated into anybody. Even the bravest hero of hundreds of years past could mess up enough within the Celestial Order to be born a peasant. And the fact that no one else seems to understand it is pure foolishness. You know as well as I do that there is a long road ahead of us if we are to make this happen. And certainly being in positions of power is useful. In truth, I've always identified mostly with the Jade sect of our organization. The Shadowlands has to end. It is the single greatest threat to all of the Empire, and indeed possibly the world. But I can't help but notice that we are being overt. Hiroshi and Sai could both be powerful allies, but I think them to be too good of samurai. I don't think they would accept such a thing.
So, you are of the mind that the organization exists to serve the Empire. True?
That's right.
And you think it's a noble undertaking what we do?
I believe it to be the most noble cause that has happened.
Then, I wonder why every time you walk into my office with such information, you lob accusation after accusation at the organization, saying that we are behind the corruption of children, saying that we are behind the assassination of people in their beds last night. It seems like you have a bone to pick with us as much as you do with the Celestial Order. Now, you are young, so I can forgive such pertinence. However, I need you to start thinking as the organization as your ally, and stop thinking them as turns as players in whatever foul game the Phoenix clan is up to. I am here, and I would hope you are here to help us make sure that the Phoenix clan is a position so that when the time comes, they can accept the light of what our organization has to offer.
You know as well as I do that men can be corrupted. I believe truly within the organization. It is the people within it who I have doubts about. I do not have doubts about you, and I do not have doubts that the Phoenix clan will eventually accept our order. We do not bow to the kami. We have our own masters, individually chosen by man themselves. The fact that they do not see that they are already on our side is baffling to me. But you have to understand, Jen, I do trust you. I just can't help but wonder what exactly this all means. It is difficult to have faith when one is being kept in the dark. I would much rather be kept in the light.
And he nods. He says, so, this is what is to be done. Tomorrow, 2 of the elemental masters, as well as our clan champion, will be holding a hearing on the Blue Lotus case. And they will be deciding whether it is finished with the deaths of Asako Yuri, or whether it is to continue. The forces which we are working against presently naturally desire the case to be closed. Tomorrow, I need you and Umbeyashi to provide testimony that the case continues outside of Asako Yuri, and that her death was a what is it? Red herring, basically.
Fabrication.
A fabrication. That her suicide was a fabrication in an attempt to hide the true depths of the conspiracy.
Shujinka will nod and then say, I had thought as much myself. It will be no difficulty to give that testimony. And Umbayashi will do what we tell him to. He always does.
Good old Umbayashi. And so he will, he digs through a skull rack. That'd be a really interesting twist if he's a blood speaker. A scroll rack for a few seconds, very unorganized, before he finally pulls out a... God, it's so hard to mix feudal Japan with evidence lockers. He pulls out a scroll and hands it to you. He says, I believe you requested this earlier this evening.
Indeed I did, and I am to find it to be a fabrication. In fact, I will compare it to the notes of others that they have written. And with my testimony, it will be so.
Excellent. I look forward to moving this plan into the next phase.
As do I. And Jen, one final thing. This corruption that we have found, we need to inform Master Jade. It is possible it could be something as bad, if not worse, than the Shadowlands. The Master Jade should be informed.
That sounds like a great idea. That thought pleases me, as the GM. Very well, I will start making the necessary preparations.
As will I. And with that, Shujinka will stand, flash his tattoo, recite the oath, nod, then leave.
Very good. Let's see. Let's get an investigation roll for you to dissect this note.
I'll go ahead and spend a void on this because this seems like a rather important thing to do. What is with my terrible rolls today?
Don't forget you get that bonus from the libraries.
Oh, well, hold on 1 second. In that case, it's 40.
Okie doke. So, you head into the library, pull out a few dissertations on legal theory that Asako Yuri scripted herself. Calligraphy would have also been a fun role for that. And as you're looking through a few of these samples, everything looks like it's in her handwriting. Everything here looks proper, except for that kanji. The swirl on the end, it's different than Asako Yuri's. Very plain use of her brush in those same instances.
It seems that whoever did this was a master at forgery. Not as good as I am at investigation.
Mm-hmm. And, so yeah, you can tell that the note is kind of bogus. And, with that, I'm going to, this has to be in the future, but we're going to travel over to Kyudensai. It wouldn't be a Kyuden, but I don't know what to call it. Kyudensai as
Shiro?
Shirosai, perhaps. I think so. As Hiroshi and Sai are arriving with a few other people. They've had a long off-road travel with a paper lantern that's been laughing at them for a few weeks, and it's kind of getting on their nerves. But finally, the two of you have arrived at Shirosai. And how are your characters doing, gentlemen?
Obviously, Asako Roshi hasn't been sleeping very well, given the laughter that never ceases.
Yeah, I suspect I'm a bit unnerved. And probably not road weary, since I'm so young.
All right. So tell me, what was the plan in hiding it in Shirosai? I just want to know the thought process that was going behind this.
Well, I think we wanted to get it somewhere safe and out of the way. Like somewhere where the other Phoeni-X clan magistrates can't get to it. Like, clearly there's some kind of cover-up going on. Or conspiracy, or different factions within the magistrates, so we were just sort of trying to get it away from Asako Yuri, who it seemed like doesn't want us to get the paper lantern.
There was also the factor of there's a clear connection of the original Sai to the Umabayashi spirit. Thus, there's some questions that could be asked of him while there.
Okay, sounds good to me. So you guys arrive at Shirosai. Winter Court is but 1 month away, and so it is a flurry of activity as groundskeepers are, tending to the moat around the castle, making sure it's crystal clear. They're just starting to introduce the koi population to the water, making sure they adjust well. The grounds are being kept. The woods around the area. I guess it's the plains. There are no woods, but all grounds are being kept. The castle's brand new, but it's being whitewashed once more. The gardens are, in but a few days, will be blooming and blossoming as plants are being imported from all across the empire of the most delicious of natures and being planted in their various spots and places as this the empire's newest castle now sits upon this beach and looks gorge. So you guys, there's just real no avoiding it. You guys make quite the entrance as you guys are approaching this castle with a wagon and what sounds like dozens of laughing children hidden under the wagon, as well as a haunting yellow glow that's seeping through the material. So you guys pull up towards the gates of the castle, and Captain of the Guard, the Major Domo, who's ever in charge of events, walks out confidently, and then he kind of sees what's going on, and you can see his confidence waver as he looks confused. He says, "Greetings, Samurai-sama. How may I be of assistance?"
We are associated with the grandson of Lord Sai.
Do I know this person?
I doubt it.
Okay. I'll stand up at that and I'll say, I am Isawa Sai, the grandson of Isawa Sai, of Castle Sai. I and my companions seek stay in the castle momentarily.
Interesting. May I? Of course. May I see your travel papers, please?
Yes. I present mine, and I'll say, the three of us are also Phoeni-X clan magistrates. I assume Umbayashi does not have his papers.
It's true he doesn't, but once you say you're magistrates, he's like, oh, sorry, yes, of course. Come inside. Let me attend to you, please. Your guests. This will be a good warm up for winter court, I think. And so he leads you all inside, and he says, while we take care of you, is there any way we can take your wagon?
Yes.
Company. This is of great import, and also potentially not among the safest objects. It is likely wise that wherever this is placed is safe both inside and out.
And he goes, oh, very, well, we have a storehouse which is not yet being used for, winter court, so we can lock it up in there if that sounds appropriate.
That would do quite nicely. Do you have a few trusted guards?
Yes, but only a few, I'm afraid. Yes, we have someone.
Perhaps they could keep an eye on the wagon.
No, of course, of course. And you guys are taken inside. You're shown to the bathing area. You gets naked. You cleans up. Your swords are sharpened. And eventually, the time comes where the major domo comes in as you guys are being, given some fresh robes. Nowhere near as extravagant as what Asako Hiroshi was wearing, but, clean, so that's fun.
I would not normally wear such a thing were it not for my lofty title. Such is vanity.
And they say, "Oh, looks like the Lord of the Castle is very excited to see you two," and he requested an audience forthwith.
Right now.
And so you guys,
Very well.
you guys rush through the castle as you go into the third story, and there in a large, grand drawing room. The screen doors are open out on a balcony-like area of the castle. Standing against the vast plains of the Phoeni-X clan is someone Asawa Sai is very familiar with. It is none other than Asawa Sai, as he has his back turned towards you guys. But as you enter, he says, "Oh, please come in, join me on the veranda." It's definitely not called a veranda.
Grandfather, and I nod. And I'll come out onto the veranda.
And with his back turned towards you, he says, "And what gifts have you brought me for offering you my hospitality?"
We come seeking more than hospitality. We come seeking refuge, in a sense.
Haha, with sidesteps like that, I often wonder why you became a bushi and not a courtier. And he'll turn around and give you a warm smile as he does the closest thing Rokukanis can to like giving you a hug. A warm nod.
Iswa smiles back and he says, "We have found an unsettling artifact, and we have brought it here. We also have reason to believe it. We also have reason to believe that discretion surrounding this item is of the utmost importance for the clan and the empire."
Oh my, this that's very exciting. That's why I sent in the recommendation for you to join Office 34. I knew you'd do great things while in there. Well, can I see the artifact? This is very exciting.
You may be deeply disturbed by what you see.
Well, I have to admit, my curiosity is all the more titillated. I've lived to be an old man, and so I feel I've seen a great share of things.
So I have heard. I hear you were particularly involved in the battles against the Gaijin, and specifically a dark thing that came with them.
And his face turns dark as he remembers those times, but he says, yes, I did what I had to for my empire, I'm afraid.
The object we brought is in the storeroom of your castle.
Ah, then let us go. He'll begin to walk out the room.
I'll walk with him and talk. Try to, like, I guess, catch up with goings on with the family.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, you know, your father's working hard at the dojo. Always have. Spooky fellow. We love him. Mother's still very torn up that that your sister hasn't been found. Have you been looking into that as an investigator? Have you been putting your contacts to the pace?
I look to Asako and then I look back and I say, the work of Office 34 is very demanding, but I have managed to learn some of what may have happened.
And he'll laughing say, yes, demanding work, I'm afraid, is the curse that our family seems to bear within the Phoeni-X clan, but we do all that is for the best, I feel. And he says, what's this information you've uncovered?
Well, it would seem what has happened to Raiwa was by no means an isolated incident, but instead a common occurrence, something of a pattern throughout the Phoeni-X lands and parts of the Dragon lands. There have been numerous disappearances of children. The head magistrate, it seems, has tried to keep such matters quiet for obvious reasons. In my research, I have noticed that there is a pattern or a trajectory towards the missing children, and I'll describe what I found regarding the pattern and kind of like the way it seemed like the disappearances were kind of like moving and all happening in kind of a certain area or whatever.
Uh-huh. Well, you know, it makes me sad that there's other families that had to share our burden. But I'm sure you and your office are working diligently to bring these criminals to justice, right?
This artifact specifically has relevance to that particular struggle.
Oh, well, of course, anything that will help me bring my beloved granddaughter back, I shall, of course, be of help. And around this time, you guys are out at the storehouse, which has been chain shut, with guards posted at it. They look unsettled by the eerie laughter which cascades out from it.
You understand now why I claimed this item may be disturbing.
That noise that is not children That is the item.
Fascinating. It's not often that you see an item that's so happy with itself. And he'll.
I would seem to believe that this particular emanation only exists due to the damage it sustained.
I see. He'll wave to the guards to open up the house, and they do so. He witnesses inside the glowing. I guess it's still under a tarp, but after the tarp is removed, the glowing orb in the cart. As he walks around and inspects it. So I suppose the voices can't, as he's like stroking his luxurious silky long beard, he's like, I suppose the voices can't be from any kami within the item, because kami seem to flee from this artifact at its mere presence.
That is indeed correct. This is an effect we have encountered many times in our investigation.
Fascinating. And what's this material that surrounds it? She points to like the red fabric.
Presumably it was fairly close to ordinary fabric. The orb itself was encased within what appeared to be a paper lantern.
Fascinating. Did it fly like a paper lantern?
In a sense,
In a sense, like how?
what would normally cause a paper lantern to rise into the air is not necessary in order for this to have done so. Even without the fire kami, it will not rise. It will rise.
Ah. And he,
Even without the wind kami, it may move.
he nods, he says, and now the purposes for your visit become clear to me. This is somehow connected to the Uzumaki?
That is indeed correct. We have had two instances that things seem very clearly connected. The only one were we able to directly investigate. It seems possible that there were other instances as well, but there is no way to prove it.
And as he strokes his beard, he looks to Sai and says, what do you make of this?
I am uncertain. I cannot see. I cannot speak with the kami the way you can. And I look down after saying that.
Those who speak with the kami can find no voice near this object.
Indeed, it seems that we are all equals before it.
That may not necessarily be the case, Isawa Dono.
Oh,
one of the students of the Master of Void.
Oh, Mori finally got another apprentice. Oh, congratulations. Oh, pleasure to meet. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And he bows
It is
towards
the
you.
default to share. However, I must note that upon my meeting my new master, I received what I believe to be a deep fortune.
How so?
There were very clear parallels to the visions I received in speaking with him, and his own story on the matter of truth.
Indeed, speaking with him is always a trying experience. I'm familiar with it, and there are no coincidences within the void, I believe.
This is, in my own personal experience, also proven remarkably true. I have, on several occasions, received vision that later I came to know do not mean merely the esoteric nature of the void, but a glimpse of reality not yet come into existence.
And has this given you insight into this artifact?
I fear I may be unusually positioned to glean information about it, but it may come at a catastrophic cost.
And he nods and says, "Oh, I know of which you speak. I was good friends with Mori before his own catastrophic price. If you do indeed plan to follow his same methods, I beg you to ensure that it's for a worthy cause."
Cause is definitely worthy. The question becomes whether in doing so I will gain sufficient insight to not make myself a burden upon the plan.
And it's at that moment that I want to travel back to Kudanasawa. So Sawa Shojenko, he's been doing a little research. I believe the year. It's I can't check that right now because I'm recording. So, but it's sometime in the 5th century. It's like 486, I believe.
Okay, gotcha.
It's on our front page, so you can check there, and I'll tell you. So little bit more digging throughout the night. Suicide also incredibly uncharacteristic of Miss Yuri. 2 years ago, she had like a major crisis as her sister died of a heart attack, and so at that point she like became very reclusive and neglectful of her duties for a time, but she very quickly not very quickly, but she bounced back from it and is the cheery, energetic self that we all know her to be now. So she's certainly and she was very close. It was her twin sister, so she's very close with her. So the fact that she would, over a matter of dishonor, that she would like kill herself before asking her master for permission, or just out of like shame or anything, that seems uncharacteristic for her, because everything that you've seen, she seemed to be like a very calm-headed person. So making a panicking order like that is strange.
Not to mention the false, basically the forged note of her lady seppuku. So, yeah, there's absolutely no way that this was, as it was reported. Much like many things within our office.
Much. Furthermore, if you do some research into the people who investigated the crime scene, it doesn't seem like they work for the Phoeni-X clan. They're all made-up names, and that kind of pisses you off.
Yeah, they could have at least done a little bit better, or at least found some patsies.
Yeah, find some people to commit seppuku. It's fine.
Yeah, seriously, if you're that dedicated to this, you should at least go the extra mile. This is personally offensive to him, given all that he's sacrificed to maintain his cover.
I think Shojinko's like, God, I'm so glad the conspiracy is within the Phoeni-X clan and not the Scorpion clan. They're so much worse at what works.
Exactly. Oh, and at some point I would have presented all of this evidence to Umbayashi and then said something similar to the effects of, this was clearly fabricated and we need to give testimony regarding it as such. We need to continue this investigation into the Blue Lotus.
Umbayashi's like, absolutely, I agree. I will do everything I can to keep this case open. Yuri's up to something, and beyond that, the people who were manipulating her want to keep it hidden. I'm behind you. And he says, so I had an interesting discovery about the Gaijin. I was wondering if you might like to interrogate him yourself.
The Gaijin? What?
Oh, did I say Gaijin? I meant the prisoner. ...
Yes, I would very much like to speak with the prisoner.
Swell. So you return to the ransacked remains of Office 34. Let me bite my nail real quick. Alright. Lady Sun is just almost gonna pop out over the horizon, and so this is a very last minute interview, but they're sitting in the prison unharmed by the family of Edda that live in the bottom, who might have to find a new home soon, but nobody cares. Inside you find...
Who cares about them?
Yeah. Inside one of the cells you find a Gaijin male. An old dude. Allegedly Shiba Shinji.
Huh. Isama Shujinko will have everyone leave, saying that he wants to investigate him alone. He wishes to speak to him with a fresh mind. No offense to Umbayashi, of course, but he feels that this would be simpler if he did this alone.
Nobody trusts Umbayashi, he says as he heads upstairs.
I'll wait until absolutely everything is clear and a few moments pass, and then reveal the tattoo and show it to him, and then say, "What are you doing here, honored father?"
I believe this is a kidnapping, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what I meant, honored father. What is it that you are doing in Kyuden Shiba?
And, so, well, before I was assisting them on their what do they call it, their Dragon Lantern project. It seems that recently the powers that be suffered a slight snafu in their operations of the vehicles, and one crashed. So I was sent in to ensure that the other vehicle was safe and sound.
Other vehicle, you say? Indeed, I am aware of the one that crashed. I assisted in its crashing.
Oh, very good, sir. Very good. I keep telling these savages that making their vehicles out of silk offers no kind of durability. Not like the original. No, sir. That thing could take a beating, but silk, you get one hole in it and the whole thing goes down. But they want maneuverability and speed, so they get what they get.
What is the purpose of these machines?
And he's like, "Oh, can't you see the possibility being able to travel across the land in mere hours as opposed to weeks? Think of the civil and think of the military applications such devices could award a person."
I have thought about the military applications, specifically regarding Gaishin Pepper. I also happen to know that within the Yobanjan lands to the north, an army is approaching. I also happen to know that, as I found this information, I am now looking at you. Tell me, Honored Father, what do you know about those that are coming from the north?
And he kind of smiles and says, "Well, there used to be a lot more of us, but I'm afraid my kind is a rare sight in this country these days. A few years back, there was a grand escape, and most of my compatriots escaped on the original, on the Uzumaki. And since then, they've been biding their time, but soon I shall be liberated, and you savages shall burn in the hell that you've created for yourself."
Someone will certainly burn. It will not be us. Honored Father, you have caused quite a few problems for me. You know that I simply wish to create a better world. You know that the members of my organization wish to do the same. And yet here you are, muddying things with your interference. Tell me, did you consider at all what would happen if you were to be revealed? You think that you could simply take these lands and that will be the end of it, but you know nothing of the lands that are around here. The Lion Clan will come and destroy you. They are military masterminds. The capital itself will give the order, and every able-bodied samurai will come and slaughter you. If you were to invade, you should have done it from multiple places and with a much larger army.
He throws one hand out to the side as if to say, "Hey, come on. Well, if you're complaining about our tactics, I think you should speak to those who are not prisoners of the samurai presently. But I think you might be underestimating the technological advantage we have over your antiquated techniques."
And you are underestimating magic. You attack the Phoeni-X clan. Do you know anything about the Phoeni-X clan, Honored Father?
Oh, surely I know. I know you all claim to be the most enlightened and scholarly of all your clans. You boast great works of medicine and civil engineering, roads, light steel, counting systems, all very advanced to the rest of your more primitive brothers. And I know that you're all great liars and deceivers for every technological advance that you've stolen from the minds of me and my brothers, who have been kept captive by your scholars. It is your clan that rides on the shoulders of giants.
Your brothers, you say? You claim that there are people that are captive here within our lands.
Yes, for 40-some years since the end of the war, your people have kept mine enslaved in the hidden pits of your land.
Tell me, honored father, how did you come about that information, and do you know where they are being held?
I came about that information because I'm still being held captive. I'm one of them. No, ever since the majority of them broke out 16 years ago, we've been kept separate from each other and are only brought together when our various projects require multiple minds. Your clan has grown more careful and secretive in these recent years.
It seems not careful enough. Honored Elder, I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm going to kill you now.
Out of character, does he actually say that?
No, it's just, it'd be funny if you said that.
I'm going to be honest with you now, Honored Elder. I do believe that much could be different, and much greater things could be made for our empire, and indeed the world as a whole, should we simply work together. I'm going to arrange transportation for you. But first you are going to give testimony. After which, you'll be taken to a place where you can more fully use your talents. Is that understood?
So you will be liberating me from these Phoeni-X fellows?
I will be allowing you to do something new. Something glorious. And all you must do is play a role.
Oh, splendid! I'd be all too happy to assist.
This is what you are going to say, Honored Father. You are going to say that you know absolutely nothing. You are an old man who simply was lost at sea. You have been taken by the clan and shooed from one place to another, specifically because they did not want you to be seen. After such time, I will ask that you are released into my care, and then a tragedy will occur, and you will die. That will be the official story. What really will be happening is you will be taken to a place where you can work in your projects. You will allow your new guards the information you have just told me. You will find a way to speak to your old compatriots, and when the time is right, things will remain much greater than they were before. But first things first, you are going to Kyuden Shiba, not to invent, but simply because you were to be transferred. You were to be transferred because it was simply no longer safe to keep you where you were before. Honored Father, where were you before you were to be transferred to Shiba, or Kyuden Shiba?
Kyuden Asako?
I see. Are you behind the infection of Gaijin pepper within this land?
I'm afraid not. I'm just a simple engineer.
I will arrange for your transport post-haste. Until then, stick with the story that I have given you. If you say anything to the contrary, I will call you a liar and I will take your head.
Oh, I understand.
Good. And with that, he will stand, talk to his crystal, and say that there is need for a priority shipment, and then leave.
Okie doke. So you head upstairs, and Umbayashi's like, productive?
Very much so. He informed me of a mass army that is camping north of these lands within the Abanjan lands. They say he claims that they are to attack Phoenix lands themselves. He also claims that he was simply a merchant who was shipwrecked here and has been taken hostage by the Phoenix clans. I see no reason to keep this man here under such lock and key. I'm going to arrange to have him transported to an area where the Edda torturers can elicit more information from him. But the information of an approaching army, that is big news indeed.
Indeed, indeed. And two of you are walking outside Office 34, and you notice something strange about the outside. Everybody's on their hands and knees. Then you see it coming towards you, a man in green and gold, followed by several other men in green and gold armor. And walking towards you is Otomo Genji. And he kind of has his arms raised in an admiring manner towards the magistrate's tower. He says, Office 34, you've fallen quite a bit since my last encounter with you. How is everybody? Umbayashi, lovely to see you again. Excuse me, sir, I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting. I am Otomo Genji. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm Asawa Shuchinka, clan magistrate. It is indeed a pleasure. And then he will give a respectable bow to him.
He says, how are you doing? The death of Asako Yuri has shaken us all, I know.
Indeed it has, and once testimony is given, it will shake us even farther.
Yes, I've heard of some reproachable lies being spread about my good friend. Where do you stand on the state of things?
The reproachable lies that you speak of are not true. I simply have found additional information that will be rather interesting to hear in the courts. I have also gleaned some information about the last mission that Asako Yuri had sent us on.
Oh, have you now? Clever boy. He looks to Umbayashi. He says, I can only assume you're the muscle of the group, Umbayashi, and he shrugs. Well, very good. Then I think you and I have an occasion to look forward to each other, for I too will be giving testimony at the event. I too have been working on this case alongside Yuri, so I'm gonna have some interesting input to put onto this courtly matters.
Certainly that will be the case, Otomo-san. Real quick, I want to investigate this guy to see if he's as full of shit as I think he is.
Okie doke. Well, you remember that once upon a time when you were in jail, your comrades had an encounter with an Otomo Genji, where he took one of your case files and gave them a Freedom of Information Act pass in exchange. And this man seems to align with that description.
Pray tell, Otomo-san, where will you be staying for the night? It is my wish to have tea with you so that we may discuss your findings.
It's presently the morning. You've been working all night on your interesting things. He says, oh, I was shown most hospitality. I was sleeping at the castle of Kunigasawa, as befits my station, and while I'm sure tea with you must be titillating, he kind of leans in and he says, I don't think it would be proper for the two of us to be seen together. And he says, regardless, it's been a pleasure meeting your acquaintance, Shujenko, and I look forward to keeping this case open with your assistance. And he raises an eyebrow and says, that's your intention, surely.
It indeed is.
Haha, then we are allies in making sure that Yuri's memory is held pristine and not dragged through the dirt as some would desire it.
The assassination of her character is one of the most disgusting acts of tarnishment I have seen within my life. I look forward to setting the record straight with you, Otomo-sama.
Tell me, Shujinko, do you still have those lovely Eddas living in your basement?
Yes, I believe we do. It is unfortunate that they will need to find a new home after the conclusion of this case.
I love you too. Very much.
Once again. Yes, indeed. You know, I've been thinking about them a lot, and I've just thought of, you know, how insulted I was Yuri had me reside in a building with Edda. But I've been thinking through it, and I think certainly in the Magistrate's Tower they have their purpose. And I was wondering, you wouldn't mind me taking a tour through your office once more, to reminisce, I suppose?
Not at all, and I would be glad to lead, and I would be glad to give you the full tour.
Oh, excellent. Lead the way. He nods towards his escorts to come along. Umbayashi-san, I'm quite famished this morning. Would you mind grabbing me something to eat? Umbayashi nods and heads off. As we nod and head off to Shirosai. So you guys are presently talking to Isawa-sai himself, I believe.
Yep.
So let's have at it. What do you guys have for him? He's currently inside the storehouse, just pacing circles around this object, looking so enthralled with it.
Grandfather, what do you make of this paper lantern?
Well, he says, stroking through a luxurious silky mane, I've encountered something similar, I suppose, in my youth, when I was no more older than you. There was something similar to this. I came over the seas with the gaijin. It was a large wooden ship, but it sailed upon the air, not the water. Had non-ballistic motion as well. But I, as well as a few other Shugenja, slayed it sometime after the Battle of White Stag.
So it was not involved in the battle, but was around after the battle.
During and after. During the war, it attacked military positions. And afterwards, it just attacked indiscriminately.
Tell me, have you ever encountered men whose faces lack clarity?
Whose face is what?
Whose faces lack clarity and ability to distinguish them?
He considers this. I feel like that would be memorable.
Well, that is just it. These beings, these spirits, also seem to have an ability to alter memory. Even erase it entirely.
Ah, like air Shugenja.
I fear it is very different than that.
No, I cannot say I have any recollection of any such creatures.
That is peculiar.
Grandfather,
Hmm.
I have recently been taught a technique that can possibly bring back memories if they have been washed away. Would you allow me to try such a technique?
Surely, if it can assist, method away.
Alright, so I'll give it a shot.
Alright, roll a meditation for me. TN 30.
I will be spending some void points. And that's void meditation?
Yes.
That is quite a good roll.
Well,
You do
I used 2 void points.
You do everything correctly. You meditate. You're calm. You do the right breathing technique. The thumb's there. You press it on his hand. You release it, and nothing happens. You find no block upon the Master of Fire.
It would seem you are correct, Grandfather. You have neither encountered... You have not encountered these beings.
Oh, well, it's good to know that I have not been touched in such a perverse way, then.
It is truly unsettling if said memory starts to creep their way through.
This ship in the air without air commie. You say you managed to destroy it. How did you do so?
Myself and several other Shugenja tracked it for days upon weeks, and it flied through the sky and went from one side of our land to the other, but at one point we caught it while it was landed. I was resting on the ground, and while it was, we rained fire and fury down upon it, and it smoked and burned, and it flew through the air, but eventually, it crashed into the ocean.
And then what happened?
And he shrugs and says, I cannot say, for all I know, it rests there to this very day. Along with the rest of the fleet of the Gaijin.
Do you happen to know precisely where this occurred?
Well, let me get a map out for you. Well, the forest where it was resting was, I should use yellow. Was there, and it flew through the air, and it landed somewhere between, probably in there.
We worked to recover this lantern with a sailor who knew another sailor. This other sailor claimed to have been part of a recovery effort to surface the ship that you had reportedly destroyed.
Really?
By his accounts, yes, so we are told. And we are also told by his accounts that the recovery effort was successful and they were able to bring the ship up from the depths.
Well, what possible use would they have of tainted Gaijin technology? Cursed. Not tainted. Don't get ideas.
I am unsure.
It is my firm belief they believe in that they may use this as a weapon against the Shadow and
And who was it that you said was in charge of this recovery effort?
it will be a mantis. I know not his name, he was the mentor of the mantis you saw among us.
Among the Phoeni-X clan?
Yes, it was most unusual to meet him.
This is dire news. If someone was, it would have to be very high placed up if they were able to recruit an entire salvage operation and keep it hidden from the rest of the clan. I'm an elemental master. I've heard nothing of this.
This may go far beyond what you may believe possible. The very clan itself may be succumbing to corruption. And this is not
a corruption which I have seen before.
The office of the Phoeni-X clan magistrates itself seem to be at odds with one another at times. We have spies within our midst spying for other groups within our organization.
Ah, so the corruption is not simply of a spiritual nature, it would seem.
That is likely so. Though I must admit that this spiritual corruption is perhaps as dire, if not more, than the taint. The tears of Lady Sun, which did not even impact Ning and Do before they turned to solid, burn those who bear this corruption.
He considers that heavy point for a moment. But you two have managed to avoid falling to it?
It is my belief that that is so, but I cannot be guaranteed. If I look through the void, I can see this corruption within things that possess it, be they a person or be they an object. Tell me, how familiar are you with the organization known as the Blue Lotus?
Oh, I know that a trial is coming up for them soon. I know an old friend of mine was the founder before she passed away. I know a great deal about them.
It is this organization which
is spreading this particular sickness.
Really?
Indeed. They have aligned themselves with the beings who can take memory. And using some sort of byproduct from these creatures, these spirits, they have been altering the spiritual makeup of children within the clan.
it is not merely a byproduct. It is the blood of these creatures.
And these are the same creatures which are kidnapping children?
That is our belief, though we have not got solid proof that this is the case.
Interesting. Well,
we do know that their blood is being given to children. It seems to prevent illness and even taint. However, they become different. Asako-san can better explain.
The very fabric of their existence is not the same as it once was. It is very difficult to explain to one who cannot see the void.
I see. And so tell me, are you not put at ease by the upcoming trial for the Blue Lotus? It seems to me that very soon the magistrates will be weighing on their fate, and they'll be swept away soon enough, if what you say is true.
It is very likely that the magistrates themselves bear some level of corruption.
I also fear that their organization has spread its fingers deep into the soil of our lands. And it will remain there beneath the surface.
I see. I see. He shall raise his hands. He says, let me propose something, I think. The trial shall be taking place, and I guess by this point it already took place since this is in the future. The trial shall be taking place any day now. Why don't we wait to see what the results are? Winter Court will be held in this very spot in just a few weeks. If we find that the results leave us suspecting that their corruption still exists within our clan, then what better opportunity than having all the important movers and shakers in one place to begin weeding out what's left of their structure.
This does bear certain dangers. We don't know exactly how deep this particular corruption has sown its seeds. For all we know, it may be greater than those who are not corrupt.
Do you suggest this could go as high as the Imperial Court?
That may be possible.
I was told by a member of the Blue Lotus that the Imperial that the Emperor does not have knowledge of their organization. But it does seem that there are others within the Imperial Court who have interest in their work. We were paid a visit by someone who claimed to be a member of an imperial family.
It seems likely that is so. You seem deeply interested in furrying any information regarding Uzumaki spirit. What little I know of this creature was information that was very difficult to acquire.
In what manner was it difficult?
It seems the courts themselves had turned against me in their efforts to avoid my gathering this information. Were it not for contacts I had within the upper levels of the founders of our clan, I would never have received the information I needed.
I see, so the structure itself has hidden information about the Uzumaki spirit. no
Yes.
doubt to cover the fact that they're using it? Very well. I've been convinced. I want the two of you to go forward, knowing that you have my full support on this matter. But what do you feel is your next plan? What's the next step that you are taking?
Of prime importance is ensuring the safety of the remaining members of our office. It is very clear to me at this point that there is one who has taken the form of our ally. You recall the individual who was in an ill state of health that was accompanying us?
Yes, I do.
He has been captive by this organization for an extended period of time, yet he was not absent from our office.
So one of these creatures has replaced him?
That is my belief.
And he's about to give testimony to the tribunal.
You understand now why I had concerns regarding the outcome of this trial.
Well then, I think it sounds like I need to get the two of you to Kudanasawa.
I think so. We also retrieved this paper lantern against the wishes of certain people within the magistrates.
So you wish me to keep it secret?
Yes.
I can do that.
We must also return to Kuden Asawa rather quickly. We were supposed to be completing another task.
And he says, well then, sounds like you have a court date to keep. And with that, we transfer over. Sawa Shojinko, you are prepared to head in to give your test to begin the trial of the Blue Lotus clan, or not clan, sect. Will you describe what your court clothes look like?
Certainly. The court clothes are very similar to his normal Shigenja robes. He is very traditionalist, sticks to clan colors, gold and red. And of course he wears his badge of office prominently upon his chest to show, hey, look guys, I actually am, important. He also makes certain to comb his hair and do proper trimming of his whatever small amount of facial hair that he actually has. Probably gets a haircut too, just to make sure that he looks very neat.
Tight.
Yeah, essentially like if you're going to court, yeah, that's what you wear. Essentially, you just look as nice as possible, make absolutely certain that you look as respectable and as believable as you can be. Especially since your testimony is going to mean something in this case.
So you are the bailiffs, the Shiba guards guarding this room. Let you in, and you and Umbayashi head inside, and you enter like the grand courtroom of the Phoeni-X clan, the highest court in the land. This is where every very important trial, this is where Sako Yuri would stand and Oh, real quick.
So would it be reasonable to assume that there are magical blocks in Phoenix Quartz? Otherwise, Shugenja would be able to manipulate the elements to make everyone think that they're the best.
Yes.
Okay, never mind then. Continue.
Most reasonable. This is where Yuri would preside, but no longer. You sit down. You see familiar faces. The Bayashi Emerald Magistrate, here to give testimony about the gunpowder. There is, just the friends you've made along the way in investigating this sect. I would say that Miyamoto Fong is missing from this expedition because he did not trust Yuri, so he would not report to any summons by her.
Also, I've never met this Muramoto, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, you don't know he's missing. Let me see if I can find her name real quick. Shiba Hoshi is there, the woman you met in prison. Her testimony was key into getting the raid set up, so she's of course going to be very important in this. Asako-Jun will be giving testimony as well, and all the big players are here basically. The captain, who's allegedly the mastermind behind all this, aside from Asako Yuri's here, so he's the dude getting grilled. As you are all assembled, everybody's in their courtly best. I need to take a drink because my mouth's getting dry. And what did I just take a sip of, Ken? Never mind.
Was it Gaijin tea?
It was Dr. Pepper.
Oh, of course it's Dr. Pepper.
So, since Yuri is dead, and Asako-Jun is too involved with this case to be the judge on it, to be the head magistrate on it, we get a special treat. There's going to be three people overseeing this case. The first is Master of Air, Isawa Kaminaga, looking beautiful in her flowing red outfits. And second is Master of Earth, Jiro Isawa, who shall also be taking point in this. But that's not all. Today we get the treat of the Phoenix Clan champion, Kanade Shiba, being like the main presider over this. The hypeness in Kanade is that she, when she was 10 years old, the clan champion died, and the soul of Shiba chose her to be the clan champion. And she was like, whoa, that's too much. So she ran away for 8 years, and she emerged out of the mountains with the clan sword and like a set of armor, and she came back and she was older and wiser and prepared to take on ruling the clan. So that was 2 years ago. Ruling the clan as much as the Phoenix Clan champion rules. Which is to say, not a lot.
Yeah, we kind of have the Elemental Council for that.
But today, that was 2 years ago, so I think I said that. I'm repeating myself. So yeah. Today you guys are assembled, and you guys all do the Pledge of Allegiance, praising the Empress, who protects all of you. And Kanade Shiba.
Praise be to her glorious name.
Kanade Shiba rises up and clears her voice and says, alright, today this case will be regarding the alleged conspiracy brought against the Blue Lotus for charges of conspiracy, murder, interfering with clan-sanctioned investigations, spiritual corruption, and the list goes on and on and on. These accusations are brought to them by Office 34 under the stewardship of Osako Jun. Osako Jun raises and gives his champion a bow. Yes, so opening statements. And the court case goes on and on for a little bit, discussing the matters. And as we do, the members of Office 34 get called up to give their testimony on stuff that's been established. And so they ask you, do you find that in your course of your investigation, have you found that the Blue Lotus is knowingly and intentionally distributing corrupting agents to the youth of the Empire?
Yes.
And they go, all right, very well. In the course of your investigation, have you found that agents of the Blue Lotus have actively interfered with your investigation into their matters?
Yes.
In these interferences, have you found that members of the Phoeni-X clans has been assisting them?
Yes.
And the questions go like that for a while until the courtroom is caught up mostly to where the player characters are in the investigation. I believe so. I guess I'll ask the room. Have you made it like common knowledge to Jun that guys, there's so much going on I have a hard time remembering. Have you made it common knowledge to Jun that the medicine comes from otherworldly creatures?
I don't believe I have that information. So
Yeah, I don't think that Shajenko was actually present when I did say that to Jun.
Yeah,
no, I was not present. I do not have that information.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I was like, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I did tell Jun exactly where the medicine came from, but I think it was just me, Sasai, and Jun in the room at the time, and I think even Umabayashi wasn't present because I basically was like, "Yeah, you can't be trusted. Get the fuck out of here."
I think I would have relayed, because I learned that when the Blue Lotus kidnapped me, and I did meet up with Shujenko when we returned, and I feel like I would have relayed that information.
If you would have relayed that information to me, I then would have relayed it to the magistrates.
Okay. And when that bomb gets dropped, everybody's like, "Oh heavens to mercy!" And a recess is called for 30 minutes as everybody kind of gathers their wits about them and returns to the court date. To the court. Asako, or Shiba Hoshi, is grilled for a while, and she's like, "Yes, I went on many missions given to me by the captain. I've murdered people. I've burned evidence. I've attacked magistrates. I've assisted in setting up clinics that help distribute this drug to other people. I can name names." And she gives a long list of people she's associated and worked with and locations of these other places. And yeah. The captain is brought up to charge, and he's like, "Yep, absolutely. Everything brought against us is true. My direct superior, the person I reported to, was Asako Yuri. Everything I did was under her command, but, I gave many commands to kill members of the clan to keep our conspiracy secret. I've associated with beings outside this world in order to assist the Empire. My hope is that, if you do find these actions punishable by death, which I certainly think you will, I hope that maybe you'll see it fit that the warriors that we've created send us to march into the Shadowlands to prove our dedication to the Empire, and everything goes on like that for a while. And then we're caught up to where the fresher, nastier stuff of the investigation starts to unfold itself. Mainly that the corruption goes way beyond the head magistrate and a military captain orchestrating all of this. So called up first is Umbayashi, who's called up to court, and the prosecutor, I guess, says, "All right, Mr. Umbayashi. So, according to Assistant Magistrate Jun, there's evidence to suggest that Asako Yuri was only taking orders from people even higher up in the clan. You were her personal aide within Office 34. So in your experience and the evidence that you've uncovered during this investigation, have you found any evidence to suggest that Asako Yuri was, operating under the orders of no one else?" And Umbayashi says, "No, I haven't. From all the information that we've gathered and that's been shared with me, Asako Yuri is where the corruption stops. We have evidence to suggest that the last Office 34, she sent them off into the mountains to be killed. Those were her actions alone, and we believe the entirety of the conspiracy rests on her shoulders." And this, she asks him a few more questions, but Shojinko feels stabbed in the ribs as Umbayashi has betrayed you.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely glaring at him currently. The daggers are real.
And so, after a bit of time, she asks him all the questions that she can think of, and she's like, "All right, thank you very much, Mr. Umbayashi. We now call to the stand Isawa Shojinko."
I take my steps deliberately. I stand, I straighten my robes, and I walk with dedication and purpose behind each step. I bow before each of them in greetings and await to be questioned.
Alrighty. Not Sako. For some reason, I really want you to be Nasako. Isawa Shojinko, you've given a great amount of testimony today, and so we shall be continuing that line of questioning. So, in the course of your investigation, have you found any evidence to suggest that this conspiracy, which we are putting on trial today, of the Blue Lotus collaborating with the Phoeni-X clan, do you have any reason to believe that the corruption goes beyond your superior, Asako Yuri?
Yes, I do.
And there's murmuring throughout the courtroom. And they go, "Would you please elaborate on that?"
I certainly will. And then with that, I will take out the massive stack of scrolls I probably came with. At least the original one that proves that it was a forgery, the original note, plus an additional 10 notes showing her handwriting and demonstrating that specific brushstroke on that kanji. I am here to say that I believe that Asako Yuri was assassinated, and then her death attempted to be covered up as a shameful seppuku. I believe that this goes farther beyond our magistrate's office, and indeed, I have evidence and testimony that claims that we are in greater danger now than we have ever been. I have information regarding a good number of horrible things that are happening, and I believe that this is simply the beginning of something far greater.
And there's a great murmuring among everybody, and Elemental Master Kaminaga clears her throat and says, "The panel would ask that the current witness tried to avoid fear-mongering among the courtroom. Can we have the notes submitted into evidence for examination, please?
Certainly. As you will see here within the testimony letter that was so-called Asako Yuri's note of suicide and intent of seppuku, you will see I have outlined here a very deliberate and easy to miss distinction between her handwriting here and her handwriting as of previous years, more so than could be said to be simply a difference of emotion, one may say. And then he'll submit them, of course, for evidence and for review by the council.
Sweet. They gets hand off behind the desk, and they summon a Sako librarian to examine the paperwork. And as they do, they say, so the evidence that you just submitted, or the testimony that you just submitted, which we honestly care more about, directly contradicts that which was previously given by Shiba Umbayashi. How would you like to explain that difference of opinion?
I name Shima Umbayashi a liar and a conspirator within the death of Asako Yuri.
Mighty fine accusation. And your evidence to support this? Your testimony to support this?
My testimony is simple. Isawa-sama. The testimony that I have is also from that of somebody outside of our celestial order, but it also relates to ones outside of our celestial order. I submit that Shiba Umbayashi was at the same hearing that I was at, given the same information that I was given, and has chosen to deliberately cover it up. And then he'll explain the situation with the old man and the last mission of Asako Yuri. I believe that Asako Yuri sent that last mission out specifically to find more information about a coming army. There is an army of Gaijin within the Obanjin lands, found from this testimony of a man who was a merchant that was traveling with the army who was shipwrecked upon Phoeni-X lands. North of the mountains within the Obanjin, they are using Gaijin pepper to prepare for a coming war. They seek to overtake Phoeni-X lands. And when given this information and sharing the testimony and the papers that I have given you with Shiba Umbayashi, Shiba Umbayashi claimed that they would support this in this matter and showed the testimony of what is truly happening. They did not. Because of this, Shiba Umbayashi is a liar and a traitor to the Phoeni-X clan.
And Asako-jun rises up and he says, I would also like to verify that Shiba Umbayashi several times within my office has conducted behavior unbecoming of a samurai. And they all go, oh, okay. And the clan champion kind of stands up and she's like, an army's amassing on our north borders, and she starts getting worked out and is talking to people behind the stand, and Yaminaga kind of raises her hand and says, please, champion-san, let's show some restraint here and complete matters at hand before jumping to conclusion, shall we? She goes, oh, of course. Mr. Shojinko, do you currently have this Gaijin on hand?
Out of character, the Otomo was there specifically to get him out of there, correct?
He was how to explain? He was mainly just there as a plot device to make you nervous. So if you wanted to keep the Gaijin hidden so you could present him, he was hidden. You hid him from the Otomo.
I not only hid him, I also wanted to plan his extraction after this was done. So yes, I present the Gaijin, who more than likely will be spat at with disgust by everybody, and then say, this man here is claimed to be a merchant of a vessel that had shipwrecked upon Rokugan. He is following an army within the Obanjin territories. As difficult as it may be for our pure minds to grasp, that is a good thing in commerce, from what he tells me. Speak, Gaijin.
And indeed he does. Hello, my name is Alistair. I come from a Gaijin nation across the sea. I am but a simple merchant. My ship was carrying loads of Gaijin powder, of which I was set to trade with the Yobanjin nations, tribes that reside above you. However, a terrible storm set me off course, and I was the only person to wash ashore.
I know that the man's word means nothing to civilized people such as us, but given that it is dealing with uncivilized matters, I felt it pertinent. Moreover, I believe that this could be a second battle of the White Stag if not handled properly. And as such, Shiba Umbayashi, who has attempted to cover this information with his lies, is a traitor to not only the Phoenix clan, but all of the Empire. And I move that his name should be remembered as such until the end of time.
Very dramatic, Shojinko. Everybody's up in an outrage, and the clan champion hits the gavel a few times and says, "All right, gonna be calling for a secondary recess as we to get everybody to calm down." And so they do, and everybody comes back. The Gaijin sits next to Shojinko, just covered in loogies. And so the council stands above and has a Asako librarian, not the same Asako librarian, standing by them, a revered master in her art, and says, and Isawa Kaminaga says, "All right, Honorable Asako, will you please share the information that you've gleaned from these notes?" And she says, "Oh, most certainly. So I've examined all 10 letters that Ishawa Shujinko submitted and compared it to the characters that were different on the suicide note of Asako Yuri." And she points out the same points that Shujinko has noted, and she says, "You'll see that in several locations the characters are indeed different. However, I would like to submit that whereas Isawa Shojinko saw this as signs that there was a secondary or an alternate writer of these courses, as you know, one of his station would be expected to consider and should not be admonished for. I believe with absolute certainty that's just a simple case of, she was in an emotional state, clearly a person of degrading honor. So in her hurry to try to cleanse her armor, I believe she just made some simple calligraphy mistakes." And everybody goes, this woman of...
And then Isawa Shujinko is going to commit a minor breach of etiquette and then interrupt her.
Yes.
And then say, "I apologize, Asako-sama, but there is more testimony to be made on behalf of Asako Yuri that I believe you will find supports my claim."
And Yami Naga will go, please silence for the moment." And so she says, "Thank you, Yami Naga, for your assistance." Yami Naga says, "Thank you for your assistance, Asako-san, in this. You may return to the benches." And she says, "Yes, of course, my lord. Anything to help up." And she stands up and goes back to where she was sitting. And so Yami Naga turns towards the clan champion and says, "So as you can see, I believe that Asako Yuri's suicide note has been verified by an expert, which is to say that since the note was being questioned by people of lower glory, I believe the note left by the head magistrate has the final word in this case, and as such, Clan-san, I believe this case is over." And the magistrate, or the clan champion, looks towards Shojinko, and she's like, "No, I don't think," and Kaminaga says, "Oh, but I'm afraid that's the letter of the law, my clan magistrate." And then very dramatically from the back of the chamber, the doors are thrown open, and a man the only man ostentatious enough to wear a gold robe with green trim, Otomo Genji, enters into the courtroom with Asako Hiroshi and Asako Sai trailing behind him. He says, "Not yet, members of the courtroom. I wish to verify for myself the discrepancy in my dearly departed friend's handwriting." And the court goes silent as this man pushes past the guards and grabs the note out of the bailiff's hand and examines it. He goes, "Ah, I see how our Asako-san could make this mistake, but she's an idiot and misread the evidence." And so he throws the letters over his shoulder and says, "Now, I believe the members of Office 34 had further testimony to give on this wide-open case." And he goes ahead and sits down in an open seat and gestures for Office 34 to continue their testimony.
Shujinko can't help but have a small, very small, almost imperceptible, but definitely there smirk on his face as this happens.
And everybody's shouting once more, and the clan champion also has a small smirk on her face and says, "We shall reconvene in a few minutes as we once again must let heads calm down." And so Office 34 reunite.
Shujinko will look at them, bow, and then motion with his hands, not with his words, to come to a place where things are slightly quieter while this recess is happening.
Sure.
Isawa-san, Asuko-san, I'm glad to see that you are both well. There has been a large development here. There is an army in the Yobanjan tribes that is coming down over the mountain and may very well be trying to cause the second day of the White Stag. I have evidence from somebody who was there who was going to sell them gunpowder. That is what our Thunder Spirit was. I have also found out that Asako Yuri has been murdered, specifically to attempt to cover things up and shut down our office. We are getting close to something that they do not want us to know. What did you find out? What is that paper lantern? What happened there?
Well, the lantern seems to be some kind of Uzumaki spirit. It cries like children and emits a powerful glow, much like the sun itself. We do not know much more than that, other than during the first battle of the White Stag, such a device was used by the Gaijin. It would seem that now this device is being used by someone within the Empire itself.
Then it is as I suspected. There's going to be another invasion from the Gaijin.
There is one more thing. Out of character, where is Umbayashi? The one that was with us.
He's outside the court waiting for a dramatic reveal.
There is one more thing. These unremembered men, they seem to be able to take the form of others. as long as they have had contact with someone, or perhaps had a portion of someone's essence or physical body. And it would seem Umbayashi has been acting, or it would seem Umbayashi has been one of these beings. We found the real Umbayashi. He had been kidnapped by the Black Lotus, and we can only assume that the Umbayashi we have encountered these last few weeks is an imposter.
We will have to address that because I am having him named as a traitor to Rokugan, because that's what I thought he was. Asako-san, have you figured out a way to detect them through the void?
I can't remember. They do appear as weird gaps, don't they?
They do.
But there is the problem that magic is not legally valid in Rokugan.
That's not the issue that he's wanting to bring up. Jake will then say, I believe that we have some people who have been corrupted in this very courtroom with us. Perhaps a member of your order. There has been some suspicious testimony from a master of your order, specifically the Asako. We have much work to do, if that is the case.
Does error dark beginnings?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that.
It does bring dark tidings.
While the testimony would not be useful within the courtroom, knowing who is corrupted here would be good. We can cleanse them of the corruption, or rather cleanse our lands of it, when this is all over.
Additionally, we found much physical documents within the holdings of the Blue Lotus. These documents paint Asako Yuri in a negative light.
And it is very likely that in most circumstances we were not intended to ever see him.
Isoa nods.
It is merely through my managing to fully break free of the hold upon my memory that I've come to know where to acquire these. It is quite clear that this organization, while very, very cautious with regards to those outside their number, does possess a certain degree of paranoia within itself. I was very clearly intended to be a weapon to be used against Asako Yuri should she prove a traitor to their cause.
I'm sorry, what was that last bit?
I was very clearly to be used as a weapon should Asako Yuri prove a traitor to their cause.
That is most unsettling. The gaps in the memory. And, you can see on his face that he's really just trying to piece all of this together. Like, this is a lot of information coming from both sides as to how important this is, and potentially not only to Phoenix Lands, but to the entirety of Rokugan.
Shichenko-san, you believe our previous statements regarding the manipulation, my previous statements regarding the manipulation of memories, do you not?
I do believe that, which means that it's possible that anyone's memories could be altered, even as...
Do you wish to know what truly happened?
Yes.
Please sit before me.
Isawa Shichenko will sit before him, and then follow his instructions explicitly.
And I would perform the ritual to unseal the memories.
What memories are you unsealing?
Sorry, repeat that.
What memories are you unsealing?
Everything to do with the meeting with the faceless man. With the boar incident.
Okay. Meditation, meditation. Yep.
And for the record, I did not win.
So you guys managed to track down Shiba Kiba and Shiba Hoshi and Sai, S-A-I, out into the forest outside of Nikesaki. They were waiting at the safe house, which was the mouth of a cave. When you went to apprehend them, a fight broke out. Isawa Sai got the heck stabbed out of his rib cage and was certainly injured by that. And then a very, as you guys were engaging in a battle, a very calm voice told everybody to stop what they were doing, and everybody froze, and you all look to the right, and you see that there's a large red paper lantern that's floating like 10 feet above the ground, and standing underneath of it is a pale man in a black kimono, who by this time members of the audience recognize him as Idrid. So he approaches everybody as they're frozen, and then he addresses the members of Office 34, and he's like, all right, here's what you're going to remember about this event. And he fills in the story about the boar and everything like that happening. And then he takes Sai, Hoshi, and Kiba and walks with them. And he stands, they all stand beneath the paper lantern and kind of like turn to ash and get sucked up into the lantern. And the lantern lifts off the ground and with non-ballistic motion, slithers through the sky. So you guys kind of stand there frozen for a few seconds and then wake up comatose. Wake up comatose is a poorly formed sentence.
Yes.
I still get what you're saying.
Wait, they say the thing about the lantern again?
They stand under it and then they like turn to ash, and the ash gets like sucked up into the lantern and it flies off.
Okay. Weird.
Do you recognize the lantern, Isawa-san?
That I do. That I do.
That is yet another thing we possess.
then there's still a chance that this can be solved. There's still a chance that we can save the Empire. Okay. The path is clear. I know now what must be done.
And that's going to be the last line of our episode. So what must be done? What must be done, Shojinko?
Well, he doesn't know, no.
I know it needs to be done for the good of the Empire.
Okay. And thanks for watching, everybody.